What is up, everyone? Welcome to Plastic Arts Podcast, the show where we break down video game news of the week. My name is Fonzie, aka Papi Chulo. We got Gavin Jones, indie game dev extraordinaire. Gavin, how are you?
Okay, I'm good, Papi Chulo. How you doing?
Hey, your words, not mine.
Am I allowed to say that? I don't.
You know what? We're gonna. Yeah, we'll see. I'll run it up the ladder. And
do
see
I get one?
Yeah, you get one. Well, I'll put up the tribunal and see what they say. The Mexican tribunal. But yeah, how's your week?
It's good. It's been another busy week. We had just stuff going on all throughout, and gotta celebrate some stuff going on this weekend. I don't know if you want to say that on the internet. That can lead to.
Well, yeah. I mean, we saw each other for Halloween. We saw each
go.
other and embraced each other, and you dressed up
touched each other in intimate ways.
Yeah, you stole my dog. She's now your girlfriend, and she used to be.
She's been my girlfriend.
That's true.
Now she's my fiance.
Yeah, she's a little piece of shit. The fact that she would just jump into your arms, and she's used to sleeping on my belly, but found your belly is warmer, I guess. So I don't know if I can compete, but
got that warm blood. And last night, I will say, before we jump into games we played, I watched for the first time in I don't know how long, probably 15 plus years. I watched Addams Family Values. Holy fuck, that movie is perfection.
Is that the second one or the first one?
I think it's like the third one.
I merged them in my head.
And I didn't realize the one where there's that gold digger trying to go after Uncle Fester's money is the same one where the kids go to camp. And I remember separately those being two amazing movies. I didn't realize it was the same movie.
Yeah.
And this scene right here, what we have is like arguably one of the most amazing things to ever happen in cinema. The scene is so fucking funny.
It's dope. Yeah. I think, is it the first one where they do that? They do another school play where for some reason, I think Wednesday's like bleeding out and she's just like spraying blood everywhere. God, I love that. Yeah. This movie doesn't get enough. They don't get enough praise for how, because they're just super out there and they kind of are under the guise as like a children's film, but it was more PG-13 for sure.
It's so weird. And it knows how to use campiness effectively without being cheesy. Like there's a scene at the beginning where like Uncle Fester's like, oh, I was so upset when I found out I had a brother. And then I realized I had a brother, and he like flips him and he does like a 1080, lands against the wall. He throws all these knives. It's like, that should be kiddie and dumb, but it's just fucking fun.
Yeah. Do you remember the MC Hammer? He did the soundtrack to one of the Addams Family.
It definitely broke out into a weird ass rap song at the end of that. So maybe this one, it was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. There's like the top artists at the time, and yeah, it just got him. But yeah, no, these movies are dope. Anytime Megan's watching it, I'll have to stop and watch it with her because they're awesome.
You gotta something happen. What does that mean?
It was a message. We got Bruno Chiava. Hello, Bruno Chiava.
Thank you for the follow.
Papi Chulo. Gavin, I think you'll hit your second mark if you pronounce that name, so I would watch out.
Bruno Chiava?
Sounds a little cool, up my alley. So you've been watching some older movies. You know what I voted today?
Oh, did you?
I dropped off the ballot in the mailbox.
You did it in the Dropbox, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
Someone promptly grabbed it out of my hand and said, nope. Or Argentinian. Nice. Hello, Bruno Chavia. But yeah, it was cool to drop it off. It sat at our house. You know, we got our ballots a long time ago, and it sat at our house forever. And over the weekend, me and Megan finally filled it out. And yeah, so it's done deal. I'm sure my vote matters.
Watch the tracker and make sure it gets... Mine got accepted, I believe, the next day.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't copy any information to track anything. So it's in God's hands now. I hope somebody got it. But yeah, it's in the box itself. So I feel like I'm good.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to copy. It's literally like it's way insecure. But yeah, you put in your first name, your last name, and then your date of birth, and yeah. So
that's cool. Did you ever go in person and do that? That's what I used to do for the past like 3 elections, but I just didn't have time this time. And then I would keep seeing online all these other different states where you'd have to wait in line, and there'd just be like crazy long lines for people just trying to vote.
Basically, yeah, you're in there 7-8 hours.
But what's the deal with that? Because is it just different counties have different rules? Like we have the Dropbox here. Are these people that just want to do it in person? Do they have the option to mail it? I feel like that'd be easier.
A lot of like we've had Washington's had mail-in voting for
I feel like for a long time.
A hot minute now. Yeah. And not every state does that.
Gotcha.
It can be chalked up to voter suppression in a lot of places. When I had to vote in person in Chicago, and that, like, I showed up right as soon as it opened, and I waited like 3 hours to vote. Jeez. Like I made it to my shift at work just barely, which is, again, it comes down to voting should be a holiday.
Yeah, and I notice a lot of places are taking the day off and letting their staff. It varies, but yeah, some more places are doing that now. And it shouldn't be this whole, ordeal just to go fucking vote. Like, that should be standard and should be allowed for all of us. It should be easy, but it's still but it's political. The reason why it's not easy, because they assume people are lying or trying to vote twice. No one wants to fucking vote twice. Nobody wants to vote in the first place. So let it be as easy as possible to vote.
Right,
but it's still an issue.
Yeah, it's all crazy. The one more thing I did see is did you see the first episode of Mandalorian?
Yes.
It was good. It felt So I mentioned this to my coworker, and I said it felt like a plot out of a video game. It was moving very, very quick. And yeah, it felt like a plot out of a video game. He's like, so it's basically the plot of a mission in Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, really?
Which I'd love to look further into. I'm sure like Google would know more about that, but he's like, yeah, like, you go to Tatooine, you fight the sand dragon or whatever it's called.
I forget the name of it, but yeah, that huge monster. Yeah.
Yeah, they find the pearl in the end. Like, right,
that was cool. I guess spoilers for Mandalorian, but
yeah.
No, I had the same thoughts and that's really how season 1 was, because he's kind of he's on his path, but he keeps getting these little like side quests along the way. Like when he meets not Carl Urban's character, but Timothy Olyphant's character. It's like, okay, I'll give you this, but you got to help me with this thing, and it's a perfect through line for how you play video games, and this would make an awesome video game. But
I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think we talked earlier about Baby Yoda. He's not used much in this episode, but he does exactly what he needs to do. He's just super cute and he reacts to stuff, and that's all. I'm fine when it's just that kind of thing happening.
I think it worked. Basically, his biggest contribution to the whole episode was hey, thank you for following.
I want to say both Assassin
Bones
29.
Malone? I can't.
Post Malone Assassin 29.
Thank you.
We're aging where eyes don't work, but also the TV is super far away. But
yeah, the contrast was not helpful.
Yeah, white background, white text. You think would have had some issues, but
I think really all he was used for is the scene where he's just like, "Are you gonna do this in front of the kid?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's seen worse."
Right. Yeah, he's even like, "Boop." It's like, Mando's going to work.
I hope we get more of that actor though. I love that guy.
He's
great.
Awesome.
He normally plays villain, so I was sure he was going to betray him by the end of the episode. So
I was thinking that too. Yep.
Didn't. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
I thought he was going to well, we probably shouldn't spoil too much. But yeah, it was a delightful episode. I really liked it. Could have moved slower though. Like there's a scene where there's he lands on Tatooine and that lady just unloads an exposition dump.
Sure.
Explains the plot at him. And I'm like, wait, rewind. I need to take notes.
Do you remember Tracy Ullman? I want to say that's her. She was, she did a lot of skits and she had her own show on HBO, but she's a comedian. And I want to say that's her. But okay. She's hilarious. But I love her as that character too. She's like, you need me to hold on to Baby Yoda? Yeah, you got it. But
there's 6 more days till Cyberpunk. Oh man, yeah, I forgot it got extended a little bit. Yeah,
that's one of our stories, because I think they announced that right after we met last week, so it's one of the things to break down. But
it does sound about right.
Is it 36 more days? I thought it was less than that. That was like 20 something, but I could be wrong. But really, we're a month, so yeah, it might be more, about 36 something days.
Yeah, because they extended 3 weeks,
something like that. It was gonna be November, whatever, and then now it's December, whatever. So it's roughly a month. So. It's a bummer, but we'll get into why we think what's going behind the scenes as far as whatever information we have. But yeah, I know we had Last of Us 2 also experienced the same thing, where it was the goalpost was almost there and they had to push it, but it was more COVID related. So we'll see.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm sure this is COVID related as well. Like everything's going to be just a bit slower.
Right. Exactly. So. But yeah, did you play anything over the week?
Almost nothing. I played Teamfight Tactics and
a little bit of Spelunky. Other stuff beyond that.
Hey, I won yesterday. All right, that's a big deal for me.
Okay, congratulations. You won video games.
I won video games, but yeah, a little bit of Spelunky. I'm so fucking dog shit at this game. We need to play it.
I'm down,
and I need you to experience how much worse it gets when that game is played co-op.
Gotcha.
Because there is friendly fire, and that game is already way too hard.
That from the footage that we watched together, yeah, I can tell that it's already hard enough to not kill yourself. I can't imagine trying to not kill your buddy.
Oh, you're gonna kill your buddy. That it will be your fault.
I see. I see.
But what did you get up to this week? You get up to anything, play
I
anything?
tried a couple of things.
Oh, right.
One of them I was telling you about over the weekend was Teardown. So it finally came out. It's in early access. And man, this game is super fun. It's just, it runs really well too. I was a little skittish when they had shown it off because it almost looks like there's ray tracing. There's just a lot going on, the physics. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't sure if my rig can handle it, but it works flawless. It's locked at 60 and it runs great rather. There is a sandbox mode where you can just play around. Everything's destructible. So like all the walls have physics. Everything has physics and just breaks apart. There's explosions and guns you can eventually find. And the stuff burns too. Like you have fire that will burn the wood.
Fire propagation.
Steel. Yeah, there you go.
Proper volumetric smoke.
That's what, yeah. So you can see the particle effects, the way they kind of just like, not pixelate, but turn this almost sand. It just looks really good.
I'd be very curious to see what a AAA company could do, because this is all, it's very small voxels, but it's all voxel based. And I feel like there's something a AAA company could do to combine the voxel technology with more traditional polygon technology,
kind of merge them, or so it doesn't have to look voxely.
I think they could. Knowing nothing about this,
somebody get on that.
I think they could.
Well, and this is one dev, so it's pretty nuts for them to do this. And then the actual download or install is like 1.5 gigs. Like it's really not that bad. Wow. And there's a lot that they're able to handle with this engine, and it's really cool, really nuts. It's fun to just get in the bulldozer and just demolish through a house. And
we need this for Bad Company 3.
Right. Yeah. If you can just, take apart that destruction aspect and add it to any game, I think it'd be awesome. But went to the wrong screen. So I played that. Also played, Control released on Switch in a weird way.
What?
So yeah. So it was announced at one of their indie directs. They had like a really quiet one, Nintendo, and so it's streaming. So there's a couple of games that they've had in Japan.
It's streaming.
Yeah. So there's forget the name of the game in Japan where they're allowing you to stream it to your Switch. This is one of the first ones. It might have been that, yeah. And this is one of the first ones in the States they're allowing. So it's a free demo that you can try the first part of the game.
There's a demo for this?
Yeah. So you can get on your Switch for free.
I'm gonna play the dick out of it.
And it's all streaming and it works pretty good. There's 2 modes, which I didn't notice a difference, but there's like a performance and a resolution mode. It's all 720p. It's all Switch, capabilities. But yeah, it runs surprisingly well, and it's on your Switch. I think there's no other way this game would run there, but it's pretty dope.
Absolutely no. I'm trying this out tonight. That's fantastic.
Check it out. So I tried a good hour of it and it ran really well. I think that's another route they can take with trying to, instead of trying to like shoehorn in these newer games into the old tech of the Switch, you can, if you can do it, you can just stream these games. And this is Nintendo's own streaming stuff. I don't think they partnered with anybody. Maybe they have, but it looks like there's no other, like, it's not Stadia doing this or something else to that degree. It's Nintendo handling this. But yeah,
I'd be definitely curious to know more about who is handling the streaming.
Yeah, somebody is. If it's a guy behind the scenes, cranking a wheel, and that's how they get it to go.
It definitely is. So if we can do that for that,
for every game.
Yeah, well, for what was that game that runs terrible on the Switch? Outer Wilds or Outer Worlds?
Oh yeah.
We'll just pimp that up.
And then I pulled up footage of Fallout 4 because I took a nap and I had a dream that I was playing Fallout 4 with mods and like cheats. So I did that when I woke up. I actually owned the game, so I never installed it on my PC.
Really?
I installed it, and I was playing with the cheats. It's actually surprisingly easy now because they have mod support within the game, so you can just download all like the cheat sheet where you can just select stuff, spawn stuff super easy. Mm-hmm. Played with some of the
but I would say almost all the cheats are built in.
They are, but like I didn't have to pull up a separate dialogue screen to type in things. Mm-hmm. There's a mod that just has it in your Pip-Boy where you can just select stuff and spawn it that way.
There you go.
But it was cool. It's fun to just walk around with the Fat Man and just blow up everybody for no reason at all. And ran really well. I was able to get like 120 frames on the PC.
Oh, I'm sure. Like my PC can run this fantastically. Yeah. So I'm sure
it's like 6 years old now at this point.
Yeah, it still looks really good.
It does.
I think. One thing I really need to do is I hear the DLC for this is really good.
There's like something Harbor. There's a bunch of DLCs.
Harbor is supposed to be fantastic.
Right. That's the one I never finished. I think I was playing all those up until then. And there's like the other DLC where you can build more of your compound and stuff, which I never really got into. But
I think one thing I would be I'm a little nervous, and I will go back and play this PC. I want to do it soon. I think the thing that makes me nervous is I'm so over leveled that basically I enter in a scenario, I crouch, which puts me into sneak, and then that like quadruples my damage, and then I can teleport across the room and just chain murder everyone teleporting across the room,
right?
And critting half of the time.
So it kind of takes the challenge out because you're doing all this.
Oh, there is no challenge. Yeah. My melee only build is insanity at this point.
Right.
So I am the Flash with a goddamn rusty knife.
Nice. But yeah, as far as that's really all I got to play this week, was jumping around and trying those older games. You know, I did also play, I might have told you this already, but I tried some of Dead Space.
Yeah, you did. 2. You said you were really digging it.
Yeah, I remember loving that game, and then I just haven't picked it up in so long.
You already have a tab open with that.
Well, I have so many I can't fucking read what they say. That's my brain. That's how my brain is laid out. But yeah, no, I'm playing on PC, and surprisingly, it like supports 4K. This is 10, 12 years ago.
A lot of games got future proofed.
That might have been it. Might have been some kind of update. And the graphics hold up really well, especially when it supports that 4K mode, where I didn't have to. There isn't a lot of the mods that do anything more than like sort of change the lighting. I looked into it, but even without, it still looks awesome. The game starts off. The beginning is probably one of my favorite beginnings ever, and that was just like refreshed when I played it because it just throws you right into the action. There's not a lot of bullshit. It's kind of telling you along the way, and there's not a lot that they have to tell you. It's just there's creepy crawlies. You're in space. Get after it. Much like Doom, where they just let you have fun. And this startup is the same way. Yeah. And yeah, I love it. And it also makes me just like angry or frustrated that because EA still owns the rights to this, that they're just sitting on this gold mine of a franchise and just kind of bring it back to life for a trilogy remaster or something. But I'm just this would be perfect to bring back to life, but they have not.
Interesting to see too something. So I just mentioned future proofing with this. I've been seeing that's more of a trend than ever. So Doom Eternal definitely did that. Where like if you want to run that thing at 1,000 frames per second, if you got the rig to do it, they're going to let you do it. Run whatever resolution. I hear that new Watch Dogs Legion, if you put everything to max, your PC, regardless of how powerful, won't be able to run it.
Interesting.
They're going to let you pump these things up. There was another one. Flight Simulator, even the beefiest of rigs,
I'm sure with that one,
can't full settings at. So it's neat, especially for me as a person who's starting to build a PC right now, and you've also just built a PC. Like if you're playing on console, you're gonna get that son of a bitch on max settings. But now, even with some of the most powerful rigs out there, we're just like, well, let's get it to look good.
Yeah,
we'll set most of the settings to max.
Right.
Like it's so strange that we can't really max them.
Yeah, and that's just because they're having all these features enabled to where they're waiting for the hardware to kind of catch up to it. But they're just going to keep pushing that goalpost, which is good because it keeps you, wanting to upgrade stuff, or it just makes so that the games have longer legs, so you can still, as technology improves, you can get a 4090 or whatever the fuck the next thing's going to be.
Or to a certain degree, just tune it. Like, yes, we know we can hit console settings. It'd be nice if you could just set it. Like hit the button for console settings and then go through and be like, all right, tune this up.
Right. I would like to see more of that support.
Yeah.
But yeah. Beyond that, not a whole lot of games that we played, I guess. There was some news, not anything's going to blow your hair back, but we did got
my hair's already blown back. Your hair's already blown back. We've come pre-blown. All right.
Yeah. So you can put that on the box art there, the stamp. Come pre-blown. So Gavin, the first one here is for some Fortnite news going into next gen with the consoles and all that. We got Fortnite PS5 features more improvements than Xbox Series X version. Paul Tamburo of GamerRevolution.com has the article. Fortnite on PS5 will feature more unique features than the Xbox Series X version. Epic Games has confirmed. This will include haptic feedback with the DualSense controller and players being able to select their favorite Fortnite modes directly from the PS5 home screen. The new Fortnite features improvements were confirmed by Epic, with the company confirming that both the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions will run at 4K 60 frames per second, while the Xbox Series S will output at 1080p 60 frames, though will feature many of the same visual and physical improvements. So visual and physical improvements. So they're I guess you're getting slightly more advantage with the PS5 just because they have the haptic feedback. They have the advanced rumble thing going on. But one thing I haven't seen them, and I've been combing that article through, So we're seeing this RTX update that they added to the PC version. There's no RTX mention in the console versions, but these consoles are able to do that. So I wonder why.
It'll be there.
Maybe the future update that could be it too. But that's what I'm more excited to see, because that's the big tagline this next gen is RTX, is ray tracing.
I mean, for me, the big tagline is SSD, and whatever the fuck
That's
Unreal's going to pull out with that new engine of theirs.
Who did you say again?
Whatever Unreal's doing with that engine that
with UE5, yeah.
Stop talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm talking about, though, with RTX. Look at the screenshot on the left. Look at the screenshot on the right. If you didn't know one was RTX and one was the other, how would you even pick which one's RTX?
Yeah, they're pretty close. That's the thing. It's, I guess, and you mention all the time, and I always give you shit for it, but you're right, where this is a kind of an emerging tech, and we're not seeing the split quite yet, because you can do a lot of software stuff that mimics these reflections versus having the hardware, which is what RTX is doing to actually create the reflections. I think, maybe 3-ish years from now, 2 years, we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see the split kind of happen.
Oh, yeah. Because really, this technology is 2 years old.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's very new.
Yeah. So.
And it has to benefit the devs in the first place. Because what if they're like bent over backwards struggling to get RTX, but they actually have something in their engine that just does the same thing? I guess they'll just go their own route.
I think this, you're looking at whatever that thing is, like that hyper resolution where you can upscale stuff. And like, even though it's a lower resolution, it looks better. I think that's going to be the bigger player going forward. It still amazes me that technology works as really good as it does. Like, not just well, it works fucking good.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the bigger player going forward. You can just upscale to proper CG levels. This will help making stuff look more proper CG. Even though I know CG means computer generated, and this is all computer generated. That visual, but you know what I mean, like in movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's looking. I mean, this looks good. I think it'll look better in more realistic looking games like Control.
Right, for sure.
But we're gonna get a lot of those this next generation, so I'm not concerned.
You know what? As we're talking about RTX, it reminds me. So we've seen footage of Demon Souls. It's on PS5 for sure right now when they launch. And what I assumed we were seeing in all the trailers was ray tracing, but they're actually, just a couple days ago, that team said we don't actually have ray tracing in the game. It wasn't part of the origin of when we were developing it, so it's just not there. But the game looks fucking insane without it. So yeah, I mean, this is a big buzzword and it's new tech, but right now we don't necessarily need it. I want it. I'd like to have it, but we don't necessarily need it. And it just depends on the game itself, really.
Right.
But yeah, Kevin, so moving on, we got more news on PS5. PS5's DualSense controller works with PS3, but not PS4. This one was kind of interesting.
What?
Yeah, so we got Andy Robinson of VideoGamesChronicle.com.
Did I just have a stroke?
I think you did. I think we both did. PlayStation 5's new DualSense controller works with legacy PlayStation 3 consoles, but not PlayStation 4, it's been revealed. As demonstrated by YouTuber Midnight Man, DualSense is not recognized at all by the PS4 console. However, the PS5 pad connects wirelessly to a PS3, likely due to the console's compatibility with generic Bluetooth controllers. PS4 players do have one option, however, to connect DualSense to their PC or Mac via USB and stream PS4 games via remote play. Not really much of an option. As demonstrated by a Twitter user, DualSense will also work with Nintendo Switch, but only if a third-party adapter is used to connect the controller. So, yeah, at face value, this sounds nuts, right? Because it's not working with PS4, but it works with PS3. Nuts. It is nuts, but it comes down to the fact that the PS3 just it talked more. It was more friendly with communicating with Bluetooth devices than I guess the PS4 did, and so it just works because the PS3 just sees it as it's a Bluetooth controller, so it talks to it. But the PS4 does not do it that easily.
Interesting. This is definitely the biggest thing I've been surprised by with the news coverage on the PS3 is journalists are really liking this controller. They say these triggers feel really good. How long till the Xbox starts accepting PS5 controller inputs, and then people can
I'm sure because I think that the Xbox Series consoles do function on Bluetooth, so I don't think it's out of the ordinary that you could just hook up whatever and then use that. I would like to see them adopt the same thing, so it's not this split where you have these haptic feedback features in the PS5, but you don't have them in the Xbox.
There's going to be patents here.
It's
especially
possible.
With controllers. Like, you look at how many times Nintendo has gotten sued for their controllers. Yeah. It's every time.
I think, especially the Wii, that was a big one that they settled eventually.
The Wii, it was the nunchuck alone, which apparently, now you see all these generic nunchuck controllers.
Right. Yeah, but it's interesting. But yeah, I hear the same thing about these different influencers and outlets talk about how this PS5 DualSense actually feels like next gen because of the features, because of the rumble, the resistant triggers. Like it sounds really dope, and I'm glad they're going that route.
My concern with these resistant triggers is how long till that mechanism wears out.
Very true. I think that's the gamble that they go with this kind of thing, because that's another thing that can wear. So you're right. I don't know. Hopefully long enough. I definitely had DualSense or DualShock 4s crap out on me. So sure. It's not the ordinary. Although these are now $70, so it's kind of like I want to at least get 3 years, hopefully, out of this thing.
Sure. I mean, and that's the thing. Generation goes on. These controllers are nicer every single generation. The price is unfortunately going to keep going up. Yeah. I think, are we going to hit $100 per controller next generation?
That's a huge jump, but it's getting there because there's more features. And as you pack all this stuff in, something's got to give. They got to make their money somewhere. But you'll find that like there's always the Xbox has their Pro controllers. Those are easily $150. And so there's aftermarket stuff you can buy that's already way more expensive than this.
Oh, yeah. I forget what that company with Xbox. Scuff.
There you go. Yeah. And
they'll send you regularly. That being said, this is a console. And a controller is one of the most important parts.
Yeah.
In a console. You have to upgrade it every generation. No excuse.
How do you feel about Xbox's route? Because they haven't really upgraded with going from the One X to the now Series.
I hear it's better. But that being said, they invested $1 billion in refining the last generation of console or controller, which I still think is fucking stupid. $1 billion
That's a lot of money.
For barely any changes?
Right. Although I think I do prefer...
How much hookers and blow is involved in...
Hopefully they got enough. Their money's worth with that. But I think I do prefer the last or the current gen Xbox controller to the PS4 controller. I think it just fits better. Although as you look at the DualSense, this one is going... It's bridging that gap where it's a beefier controller and it's more like the Xbox One or 360 kind of controller. So I think they're learning from that.
It's interesting how much we've learned about like the ergonomics of a controller. It's too bad we don't have more mini options, because there are people with smaller hands that do like those like Mad Catz mini controllers. I don't, but like it's definitely a valid complaint that people have.
Or kids.
Yeah, kids. I mean, I hear about that complaint more from adults, but maybe just because I don't listen to kids. But it is a legit valid complaint. It's got to feel good in the hands, and our controllers now, you compare it to some of these older controllers, they feel, and I still think the Xbox 360 controller is like the gold standard. But that being said, well, no, now I do prefer my Switch Pro controller. I think that feels...
I do hear a lot of good things about that.
So good. But now these all feel like Switch. They fattened them up. We needed a certain amount of fat. Maybe Microsoft was right with the original Xbox controller.
I think that is kind of, you're right, where it's a standard. I think everyone just really mimics after that thing came out. They're going back to that same style and just kind of tweaking certain things, but it stays basically there. But another last little tidbit about the PS4, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan says it's crucial to keep serving PS4 owners in the years to come. So they're going to support PS4 for a while. And that makes sense because PS4 has sold so much and it keeps selling year after year. So it would be insane to just, drop it. As much as we want now the new hotness to be next gen, we're going to kind of go the next couple of years with a lot of these games being backwards compatible.
This has been their philosophy every time.
Yeah, I guess I can't pull up anything else to really combat that. I think you're right. But more so, it's prevalent now because it's the PS4 is so successful. You have to keep supporting it. Like, why would you not do that?
Yep.
Part of me does find that as a bummer because I do want these games going forward to not be held back. And that's kind of an outsider view looking in because I don't know if they're being held back. But I see that as, they can't put X, Y, and Z in there because they have to also work on PS4 architecture. But every game is now scalable. It's on PC with all these different specs. It's on different consoles. So that's kind of the standard. But
that being said, we are getting these PS4 exclusive games already. Like you look at that, was it Odyssey to the West, that game with the monkey?
Oh, sure. And that's current gen, right? They're developing that on current gen at least?
I think that's next gen only.
Oh, okay.
But I could be wrong.
Gotcha.
I could very much be wrong. I mean, you look at how gorgeous Ghost of Tsushima looks.
Yeah, and that's current gen and it looks fucking amazing. And that still runs fine on a base PS4. So
yeah,
that's a testament to their engine, I think. I look very orange on this camera. I noticed today.
That's I've told you before,
All the
but
carrots?
with these, no, it's with the green screen, like getting both our complexions to work is tricky.
Yeah, it's true. I need
So-
2 different cameras, 2 different green screens. Yeah, separate but equal green screens, Gavin.
Oh Jesus!
So we got some news about Anthem. It's not dead. I know they were working behind the scenes on revitalizing the engine.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's kind of a lengthy thing. We'll pick apart just little bits of it. But Anthem 2.0, Javelin gameplay, builds, skill tree, and artifact details revealed. So this is from IGN.
I want to believe.
Yeah, oh yeah, me
I want
too.
to believe, or just bring it back on next gen. But no, you have to No Man's Sky it.
Yeah, the install base is so
Final
big, too.
Fantasy Realm Reborn it, or nothing.
And there's people that still own the base model, so do
Yeah.
they leave them high and dry and just
You can't.
you can't. So some of the details here. Adam Bankhurst of IGN has the article. Anthem is currently undergoing a major overhaul, and BioWare has detailed how the team is planning to improve Javelin gameplay, build, skill trees, artifacts, and more. Revealed on BioWare's blog, these ideas, mock-ups, and direction are all works in progress and may change, but it gives a glimpse into the development of Anthem's future. So here are the 2 takeaways. One of the biggest complaints that BioWare has heard about Anthem was that it doesn't offer satisfying Javelin builds. It has taken that to heart and wants to give more choice and experimentation for loadouts. And then also the Anthem development team is playing around with the idea of Javelins leveling up and earning skill points. These points would unlock abilities, passives, and stat boosts, and each specialization would have its own advanced skill tree. I feel like that's 2 different ways of saying the same thing. But that's great to hear an update. I mean, we don't have any footage or anything that we're looking at older footage of Anthem, but the fact that they are still committed to, bring this thing back to life and trying to do the No Man's Sky route, it's gonna be tough because they have to fix these issues that, granted, I didn't spend a lot of time with Anthem, so I'm not really sure all the different criticisms, but there's a laundry list of them from what I take away from people talking about it. So is it too much of a task to kind of rework this thing, and you can't just put a fresh coat of paint on it? You have to fix why it wasn't fun in the first place.
It's a big ask. I think one thing too about this game that it's always going to struggle with, partially because of its visuals, is I feel like people wanted this to be Warframe but with flying, and competing against Warframe at this point is basically impossible. There's nothing else like it on the market. As someone who doesn't play Warframe, who probably should.
But you've seen, compared to everything else, right,
like you're picking up all these different frames, which in this game would be javelins, and you have wild and crazy builds you can do with them. You have days and months worth of content for every character you pull out. You've got all these different modes. Like if they could have done that, but with flying, people would be in tears of joy with how amazing this game is, and you'd be bringing that Warframe to an even more mainstream audience, which it already is. To me, I was hoping this game would be like Destiny but fun.
I like Destiny too, but
a lot of people like Destiny. I really don't, and that's on me. I also don't like Mass Effect. While we're throwing out shit that I don't like that everyone else does.
Damn, okay.
But yeah, this game had a lot of promise. It didn't. It has that hard comparison, but hopefully they can pull it out and make it.
And you mentioned Warframe. I think it's interesting and I imagine all publishers, devs, studios are going to take notice. It's how you release something. So if they were able to, the hype can kind of backfire, and I think it backfired with Anthem. If they were able to do some kind of early access thing with less risk involved, with spending people's money early on, if they were able to slowly roll this thing out and say, hey, we're working on this thing, it's progress, we're going to add features slowly. If they could have gone that route early on, then maybe they could have curbed that criticism or expectation. But because they hype this thing up so high and it's $60 and here you go and it's going to do all this stuff and it doesn't deliver, people become sour on it. So how do you have to just kind of like hold back these releases to make sure that you can slowly upgrade it if it needs to be. But No Man's Sky had that same issue where it was so hyped. It wasn't exactly what they promised, but then they took the time and rebuilt it. But is the community already gone by then? So it's this hard thing to accomplish.
Well, this has taken way longer to rebuild than No Man's Sky did.
Sure. I think No Man's Sky took about a year right before their like their next huge expansion.
I would say a year and a half to when Next happened or whatever the big one was.
And this released last fall, or because we're doing the podcast then.
Yeah.
But so I want to say maybe last springtime. No, last
we
fall.
We could look
time.
it up real quick.
We have the power of the internet. We could do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Anthem released it. I think 2019 for sure, right? So January 25th, 2019. So that was almost 2 years now.
Yeah, that
'Cause we were
that
well
sounds
on
about right to
2021.
me. I feel like this is back at the coffee shop, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it was. Yep. So it's almost 2 years, and I think they've only been reworking the engine and everything for the past 6 months, maybe when they made that announcement, maybe a little bit longer. So it's gonna take time, and they have a lot that they need to do too. So,
And on a small team.
although it's EA, they have a bunch of money, but I don't know how big that studio is. Yeah, it could be on the smaller side.
Yeah.
But you'd think they want to put all hands on deck to, because it's a matter of like how much money do you want to lose? Is it worth it? That's the bottom line that they're balancing out. So do you
Right.
throw more people at it, lose more money, but then you recoup none of the costs? So I don't know what you do.
This is kind of cool footage watching them like flying from
That's the
area
thing.
to-
It looks fun. Like on paper and in trailers, it looks fun, but I guess it just doesn't stay that way.
I didn't really feel, at least from what I played, I didn't feel challenged. So I don't know how you do that in this 360-degree flying gameplay. Do you bring in, I would say bring in more spaceships. I mean, it's a lot of you fighting the wildlife, but yeah, bring in these big ships that you're fighting along with these ground enemies, really mix it up vertically.
Yeah.
Maybe some enemies you have to fight from above, some enemies you have to fight from below. Give
More Iron Man.
give flight a fucking reason to exist.
Right.
But
Yeah, it's fair. I think I'd rather play this than the new Marvel Avengers, where you're playing as
Sure.
Iron Man. For some reason, this looks more fun to me, but
Probably
still,
is.
and that's the thing. I'm sure it's cheap enough now and I'm assuming all the servers and everything are live as they're building the next update, where you could jump in and keep playing it. But yeah, well, I'm hoping, give them the best regards, and hopefully they can turn this around. It's not gonna be easy, but it's possible. We've seen that with No Man's Sky. It's just not easy.
yeah, it's an interesting one.
But you can handle it, Gavin. Just hand over there and tell them what to do. And
Exactly.
up.
I can't even do that at my own current work. Oh, remind me to tell you about that later.
to water your plants, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, something like that. Anyway.
Now, Gavin, we got some leaks. So a lot of Spider-Man stuff and PS5 stuff is still under embargo. But somebody, and it's from like a different country, different language, they got a hold of a PS5 and said, fuck all that. And so they're showing Spider-Man Miles Morales loading in real time. And it's pretty bonkers how fast it loads.
Well,
So-
this was like their tech demo. They used Spider-Man as a tech
They
demo
did.
for how fast this thing could go. And good tech demo. Good. This is the game you want to do with that.
Right. And so we'll watch in real time. It's the video starts. We're seeing the menu too, which we've seen a little bit of. But and this is all under embargo, so he's breaking. But I don't think this guy cares at all. But somehow he has a PS5.
I mean, this is so blurry.
It is, yeah. It's on like a AOL Instant
Good
Messenger
luck
camera.
catching this guy. Yeah.
But he loads the game, and maybe 3-4 seconds, we got this. This is the start menu,
Mhm.
and then once he actually loads the save, we've got 1, 2, 3 seconds into the game.
That's nothing. I
It's
wouldn't
fucking
expect
nuts.
that to be standard,
No, you're right.
but
So it's a first party. It's made
Yeah.
like specifically to take advantage of those SSDs, but it's just mind boggling. Then you're into the game. Like I'm hoping that becomes more of a standard where across the board,
Right.
all these games that are legit next gen games are using that super fast tech. But what am I gonna do in the meantime? Usually I'm going online. I'm buying bullshit on Amazon. I'm not gonna have time to do that anymore.
right.
I'm gonna have to play these games actually.
I mean, I still think the biggest thing with that, you combine that with crossplay, and if they can find a way to sync games quicker for multiplayer, because that is the thing. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
just loading, there's syncing everyone's games.
Right.
If they can make syncing faster, you're going to be going from game to game to game to
Yeah.
game, rapid fire. It's going to be,
Nothing's gonna get
especially
done.
with crossplay, like no slowing down.
Yeah.
Just,
So, Gavin, on the topic of Spider-Man Miles Morales, they revealed the Spider-Verse suit in the game.
Mhm.
And the way it functions is really cool because it looks just like the movie. So we're watching footage now.
oh, the framey animation
Right?
is so cool.
It's fucking beautiful. And man, I just cannot wait to play this game. But they did something similar with the last Spider-Man where you had the cartoony suit. I don't know if you saw that, where you just look like a cell shaded, like you're ripped from the comic books.
Fuck, this is so much better than
Oh, yeah.
that.
This is another
though.
level for sure.
Oh man, you combine this with like that tech behind like Blaze Blue with their crazy fighting game animation system.
Oh.
Like, oh man, the next Dragon Ball Z 3D game is gonna be nuts. It's all, dude.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I cannot wait. And this is for sure going to be my day one like PS5 game is to jump into Spider-Man Miles Morales.
How the fuck? This isn't even a game designed from the ground up for this, and they made it look this amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how they make it to work, but you think it's like, oh, we just adjust the frame rate for the character. That's not at all how easy it is, but
That's probably a decent chunk of it. I'm sure there's exceptions, and they have to be able to hold on certain frames more than others. But
well, Insomniac, if you need me to help out, I can. Me and Gavin
give you
can go
coffee
over there.
and
yeah, I can sweep the floors outside, or I can,
Oh, I want to play this to know how well it works.
come over, man. As soon as I get this, you can play this.
That looks
4K
so
TiVo.
cool.
Yeah, looks dope. So we got someone in the chat, Ultima Zord. What's up, guys? What is up with you? Thanks for joining us. We got people from Argentina, people from Ultima Zord. Everybody's joining. So we got some more PS5 news. This one's a bummer, but this is a PS5 custom plate maker apologizes after confusion. Update, all orders canceled. So if you saw this is one of the first third-party companies to offer.
Void your warranty? Like what?
Well, that's the thing. So they came out of the gate really as soon as the PS5 was shown off that you could remove the fins, or the sides. They said that they're going to offer like just different colors and customization. And Sony basically immediately shut them down. So one of their first problems was they were called Plate Station. And so they had legal, right, which is a cool name, but it was so close to PlayStation that legal issues
you
there.
can't do that. You really can't do that.
Right. So they changed it to customize my plates or pimp my ride or whatever. And that wasn't enough either. So I think whatever they're doing, I don't know if they have the schematics yet to even sell this because PS5 isn't even out yet. So Sony has just shut them down. So they're no longer able to do this.
That sucks. Like they
look pretty cool. I mean,
to me, that's a bigger selling point.
But that they're bad boys. Oh, that you could have this. Yeah. Well, I think Sony is going to have their own option, and they want to be able to sell their, $100 or whatever they're going to charge you for this thing. But I'm just going to spray paint my own. What do I need? I don't need any of this.
You don't. I hear those are easy to pop off.
Yeah, we saw the teardown, and it's super. They just pop off with little plastic tabs, and maybe I'll just leave them off and just be extra cool. And just get
is that what that is?
Well, the cooling feature. These things are the sides are holding it back. So if I just put it in my freezer and take the sides off, I mean, I got next gen gameplay right there.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm pretty sure it might work.
I don't know how sound this science is. Cyberpunk. Oh boy.
Yeah, Gavin. So Cyberpunk was delayed. They announced this like right after we met last week.
They sure did.
So it's delayed until December. This is Matt TM Kim of IGN. Cyberpunk 2077 will be delayed again by 21 days with a new release date set for December 10th, 2020. CD Projekt Red announced the news in a statement on Twitter, citing the immense task of shipping Cyberpunk 2077 across 9 consoles and 2 generations of hardware. So they're saying because they have to now playtest or like bug test 9 different releases, it's just been added time.
What are the 9? So we have...
The Stadia is one of them.
Fuck, don't make me include that.
They're saying it's going to be day
PlayStation
one.
4, Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
Are we including multiple versions of PlayStation?
I think they are.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
So you have the 2 different remodels. You have PC. And then the next gen consoles. Then you have Xbox Series S and Series X. You have PS5. So that easily gets to 9 different consoles or versions.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So it's a bummer.
This is why I hate these multi-console like thing that we've gotten into.
Yeah, it makes it tough.
HDs and your whatnots.
Because if you have a game that's trying to release on all of them, then they have to make sure that everything, especially such a demanding game like Cyberpunk, I think it's going to have a lot of issues on the older tech for sure. But so that was announced. And then in that same week, the CEO of CD Projekt Red got into some trouble too for some comments. So CEO Adam Kaczynski drew ire from internal developers for downplaying crunch during a recent investors call. So this is one of his quotes. Regarding crunch, actually, it's not that bad. It never was. Of course, it's a story that has been picked up by the media.
It's not that bad.
Right?
It never was. Of course,
Trumpish.
It's a story that's been picked up by the media.
It's fake news.
I went for Trump and it ended up as Larry David. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, it's an interesting 4 degrees.
It's that old, it's the old New York accent.
Right.
Make that transition, like how Bernie and Trump have the same accent. Yeah.
So he had this not so fun look at crunch, kind of downplaying it, and then very shortly after comments were made and after the story got picked up by mainstream media, Kaczynski apologized in a private email to all CD Projekt developers. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to apologize to everyone for what I said during Tuesday's investor conference call.
Walk that one back.
Yeah, I had not wanted to comment on crunch, yet I still did, and I did it in a demeaning and harmful way. So yeah, no shit, dude.
Was
Especially
it
with
that demeaning? Hold on, can we look back at it?
I guess the way he's like saying it wasn't that bad, and the media was kind of hyping it up, and he's saying some people have been crunching heavily, but overall it was blown out of proportion. That's what he's saying. But it's always bad to have the CEO say that, but none of the devs saying that. It's like, yeah, dude, you just kind of sit back, you walk around the office and check on things, but we're the ones here every day doing the shit. So it's just bad optics, really, to hear from him.
I wish our CEO would apologize to us when we hear him lying on Zoom calls and whatnot. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think it's because he's such a public figure and Cyberpunk has so much hype. And his comments, I think, were negative with the release being so close, too. And they already have so much drama with Crunch. Like, they're the big, not advocates. They're the big target.
Crunchy Chulo.
They're Crunchy Chulo for sure.
What does Chulo mean again? Did I use the wrong?
Like cute? No?
Poppy
Yeah.
Cruncho?
Poppy
I don't know which
Cruncho?
way to flip that.
I'm not Googling this because I'm Mexican and I know what it means. Chulo means pimp as a noun, but you can also use that as an adjective, which means cute or cool. See, I think of it always as cute.
I think Crunchy Chulo works for damn.
Yeah, he's had Crunchy Chulo over there. But how do you feel about them delaying it? I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's what, a month later? It's like, we're still going to get this game.
I think they delayed it because they literally had to.
Right. Yeah.
I think whatever that last big delay was, I think was a bigger change to something that touches everything. Something serious, some serious system needed touched, and they have to retest everything. And it also took 3 weeks longer to make that improvement. So this is, it's whatever that big change was. It was,
and this close to the end, it's got to be just bugs, right? Just like Bug City, where they have to make sure everything works and test the crap out of every nook and cranny to make sure it's not game breaking, I would imagine.
All right. God, I hope this game's fucking good.
I can't. It's on point to like not really disappoint. I can't imagine how it would. I mean, at the very least, it's going to be fine to fun, and then it's just sky's the limit with how much it could be just critically acclaimed. But I cannot wait. But I will wait. I think it's fine.
I still really, and I've said this before, we really need to try and play differently.
Yeah, I think we'll come together, make a plan. And see, we have the three different, characters or paths. You have the nomad, the street kid, and then the corporo.
Right. And I'd be like, gameplay wise, part of me wants to go melee only, which I do in way too many games.
Yeah, you like to. That's your jam.
It's fun.
I think you have
really,
a lot of
times my gameplay experience is way different than a lot of people because I do that. And they're saying, pretty blatantly, yes, you can do that with this game. It also looks like killing people with melee gets you health back, and I love that. I love it when games do that. Yep. So
that's what I love about Doom.
It could be. We'll have to see. What each other wants to do. I think we probably had to give each other like a few hours before we come together and go, okay, where are you going? But we'll at least pick different backstories.
Sure. Yeah. Now, is that something is that separate from the three paths, the backstories, or does that come with your path?
No, it's your path. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So your three backstories.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait, but we all will wait, a couple more days, 30 more days.
I mean, clearly for me, it's helpful because I'm building a whole goddamn PC.
There you go.
Just to run this fucker.
Yeah.
With the exception of the graphics card, I will.
For me, always in the back of my mind was Alex and this game for sure, too.
Right. Yeah. I'd be curious to see. Yeah. It'd be fun to. If I could borrow that headset of yours.
100%. Yeah, done. You got it. There's more delays.
Get to the end and be like, I couldn't touch my boobs once.
You're trying to tweak it, and it's just not working.
There was no jiggle physics at all, independent or otherwise.
Yeah. So just in the topic of delays, we got some more delays for one of the games I was highly anticipating. So Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine have been delayed. So they've been moved from the fiscal year 2021. Or sorry, from 2020, springtime 2020 to 2021 to 2022. So next year is the next projected time for these. And they use COVID as the reason why, because it's just harder to develop right now and everyone's separate and stuff.
It's, one of the things you can't do when you're working remote is, and I dealt with this with one of my coworkers earlier, it's just like something can work wrong 1,000 times. And the second you bring someone over to look at it, it suddenly starts working. So if you can't bring someone over to look at it, it's not going to start working.
Right.
Or you're not going to suddenly go, oh, duh, I didn't need you after all.
Yeah. When it comes to your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to springboard off people. Man, I would be curious to see, Because Far Cry has consistently been some of the best looking games out there.
Yep.
Going for photorealism for a long time. This game's gonna look nuts.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait for this. I love the main character. I forget his name, but is he Gustavo on Breaking Bad? He's such a great villain. He's in The Mandalorian too.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for him to pop up again. He's such
With
a great
the
actor.
Dark Saber.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
Dark Saber. And he's just always fucking people up, and he's just dope. It's like effortlessly dope. And yeah, I can't wait for his portrayal of this villain and this new area they're going into. Cannot wait, but looks like next year. So there's gonna be a bunch of stuff I'm sure to hold us off, so it's not the end of the world, but so we'll be fine. But yeah, Gavin, that's all I got for you this week. I'm going to show you some nifty little Halloween outfits since we just had Halloween the other day. We got this one here.
I feel like I did have a piece of news that we didn't cover it,
Yeah.
but I've forgotten.
Well, to hold you off until then, we got some Among Us
Halloween.
Halloween.
Red is sus. Red is sus. Like that they pulled in the arms.
Right. I wouldn't mind this as like a back to school kind of thing for kids.
Are these official or did they make these?
I think they made these. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's just like a TikTok, but I'm pretty sure they made these.
Wow.
They're pretty dope. I think, are they squatting or they're kids? Or they're just like really tall? It just seems like they're shorter.
I think they're kids standing next to that car.
That's
I'm pretty
true.
sure I'm a full head above that car.
Yeah. But saw that was pretty nifty. And then somebody cosplayed as a PS5 for Halloween.
Jeez.
So we got this. But then also in comparison, they did the same outfit for the Xbox Series X. And it's just a sheet over their face.
Okay.
And then a very booty PS5.
That's a lot more booty than I was aware could exist on one person. That is
yeah, I'm used to seeing that in the mirror, but I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, Gavin, that's all I got for this week. We can end it there. We're about an hour. Yeah. Where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs.
Awesome. You can find us as well online on Twitter at PlasticHeartPod. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.